So if we just then get you and pause at that foot strike there, we can see that the hips and that belt buckle have done a good job of rotating forward here. We can also see that by the position of this back leg. And even if we take that back and we watch this back foot specifically, you can see it doing a good job turning those hips over as we load up this throwing arm. What we do notice is the angle that this is going in. Elbows kind of dropping down. Elbows kind of dipping down here. And we're kind of losing that 90-90 that we're trying to get. So we're not as much of that here that we're looking for, which is going to lead to us kind of getting around the baseball. As you can see there, we're kind of getting around it, which is going to put some additional stress on this elbow here over time, just because of how much we're trying to get back through it. So what we want to think about is, like we've been talking about with this arm here, if we're going to stay short and compact with it, we need to make sure that we're getting it loaded back here. And we can see that when it's short and compact, it's never really getting loaded too far back in that scap. And is that a reason that that elbow's dipping? It could be. I mean, our arm slot is pretty standard in terms of positioning with the shoulders and the wrist. It's just the path that we're taking to get there is less than ideal, and it's a little of stress inducing on that elbow. But the lower body looks fantastic. We do have a little bit of knee instability here as we get out of that foot strike. And we can even see that from this side as well, how that knee just rolls out a little bit. So we just need to get stronger and firmer on this front side, have that knee already rotated out to this position, and instead of it landing here, being able to land more here with that leg so that we're already here. Because from there, you're able to stabilize it. So we just need to get that front knee out more. Need to rotate that front knee. And we look at it as front foot strike. We were talking about that stride direction, how we're just kind of opening up our hips instead of rotating our hips. We can see this backside, by the time we do get in the foot strike, hasn't really turned over. Knee hasn't really turned over all that much. And that's why the back hip isn't quite able to turn over. It isn't quite able to come through at this point in time. It will, however, get to that point here, and that's when this back foot finally starts to turn over. That's when the back knee finally starts to turn over, and that's when the back hip then does start to go forward. And we can also see that from the front view of foot strike, and then things get nice and rotated with the lower body. Just a little late, and that's probably because we're opening up instead of rotating forward. So, like we talked about, you're not trying to stride over here, you're trying to stride here. But if we keep thinking about striding here, we will continue to stride here. So if we want to actually stride over here, we have to think about striding here, and that will get us to be actually here.